Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask a CPA. Today's question comes from Jeremy in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jeremy asks, I received a Schedule K-1 from a real estate investment I made, but I have no idea how to report this. Help! Alright, Jeremy, no problem. Reporting a Schedule K-1 is something that can be quite confusing for many taxpayers. If you've received a Schedule K-1 from whether it's a partnership or an S corporation or a trust, you are in the right place. Stick around and we'll guide you through the process step by step of how to report a Schedule K-1. Let's get started. Now, before we dive into reporting, let's briefly understand what a Schedule K-1 is. A Schedule K-1 is a tax document used to report income deductions and credits from various sources. It's primarily issued to partners in a partnership, shareholders in an S corporation, and beneficiaries of a trust. The form provides detailed information about your share of the entity's income, losses, dividends, and other tax-related items. You're required to report your share of the income and expenses on your personal tax return and pay taxes on these earnings. This is known as a flow-through entity type and is very common amongst closely held businesses. A Schedule K-1 has different sections, and it's important to understand each one for accurate reporting. Let's briefly go through the main sections you may encounter. So Part 1 is information about the partnership or corporation issuing you the Schedule K-1. Now this includes their employer identification number, known as an EIN, their legal name, and their mailing address. Now Part 2 includes information about you and your ownership interest in the business. So this includes your social security number, your name, your address, plus some important designations, including your ownership percentage of the business, your allocation of the business debts, and your capital account reconciliation. Review each section for accuracy and reach out to the managing member or CPA if there's any errors in these sections. Now let's walk through the process of reporting your Schedule K-1 on your personal tax return. Please note that these specific steps may vary depending on your tax software or the forms in which you're using. Consult with a tax professional or refer to the IRS instructions for your particular situation. So start by filling out the relevant sections of your Schedule K-1 on your Form 1040. For example, the ordinary business income on line 1 of your Schedule K-1 should be reported on Schedule E of your individual income tax return. Interest and dividend income will be reported on Schedule B of your personal tax return, and capital gains will be reported on Schedule D. Each line of your K-1 will be reported in different sections of your personal tax return. Your tax software will likely take care of this for you, but some items on your Schedule K-1 will require additional forms and schedules. Be sure to attach any necessary reporting documents as specified by the IRS. If you're not sure about any specific entry or have complex transactions, it's best to consult a tax professional who can guide you through the process. A couple of other items to consider when reporting on Schedule K-1 is whether you're an active or a passive investor in the business. There are several qualifications to determine if you're an active participant, but it's an important distinction as there are loss limitations for passive investors. Another important item to track is your tax basis. Losses that flow through to you from an investment have several limitations, including basis. You will want to track your tax basis to ensure that you are eligible to deduct certain flow-through losses. Now, as we wrap up here, there are a few additional tips and considerations to keep in mind when reporting your Schedule K-1. First, review your Schedule K-1 thoroughly and ensure all the information is accurate. Reach out to the issuing entity if you notice any discrepancies at all. Keep copies of all your Schedule K-1 and related tax documents for your records. Be aware of any filing deadlines and make sure to submit your tax return on time to avoid any penalties. Now, if you receive multiple Schedule K-1 forms, repeat the reporting process for each form separately. If you're unsure of any aspect of reporting, seek professional help from a qualified tax advisor or CPA. And that's it. Reporting of a Schedule K-1 doesn't have to be a daunting task. By understanding the sections, gathering the documents necessary, and transferring the information onto your tax return, you can accurately report income and deductions properly. Remember, if you have any doubts, it's always wise to consult with a tax professional for professional guidance. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.